together we're leading, connecting, transforming, together.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Danielle, and I'm very excited to be here, as is the sun. So I'm going to move my screen a little bit. So welcome, everybody. Again, my name is Danielle. I'm really excited to be here. I'm nervous as well, and I'm going to be okay with the excitement and the nerves all being here, and trust that everything will settle, as I will get us having us come together to do a grounding here soon. So again, my name is Danielle. I'm coming to you from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. I am a trauma-informed counselor and have been for over 22 years. I'm also a married mother of 5. I have kids that are ages 28 down to 15. I am a personal trainer and also a fitness trainer. I teach spin classes, and I am definitely really familiar with the rhythm of busy. I am a new author. I just wrote a book called The Grand Facade, and that's one of the chapters I'm going to be reading to you from today. I'm really just so excited to be part of this community, to have been invited. I really want to thank Shawnee. She and I have a very unique and beautiful connection that I am so incredibly grateful for. And it's what's led me here to all of you today, and just feeling really grateful for that every day, and just especially right now. So what I'm going to invite all of you to do, as what I just did, was just take a breath. If you can take a look at the space that you're sitting in right now, and I'm sure you've done a few things this morning to get your space ready, whether it's you're in your bed right now and you've just fluffed up your pillows. If you're sitting on the floor, if you're in a chair like myself, or on a couch, if you are in your office space, I'm just going to invite you to take a bit of a peek around your space to see if there's anything that you need to do to make yourself feel more comfortable, more grounded, more clear. Something that you might need to grab to get close to you. Is there an oil that you like to put on your skin? Are there stones that you like to have near you? I know I have a diffuser going often with an oil this morning that's called Clarity. And in grounding, I believe that it's important not just what we say to ourselves, but how we talk to ourselves. And that's definitely been something that has really helped me in my own learning. So I'm going to read a grounding meditation to you this morning. It is one that I wrote. And typically when I do a grounding, I just close my eyes and kind of let spirit take over. And I go with what feels right. For today, I did want to give you a taste of something that I have written, and I've actually put it in a guide that I created. And I guess for more transparency, my own nerves and my own need to have some control, which I'm going to talk about today, as my topic is Jonesin for control. I am learning to release it. It still comes and bites me in the butt sometimes. So being able to read my own meditation was helpful this morning, just to help me stay grounded. So assuming that you've created the space that you need this morning, I'm going to invite folks to close their eyes. I'm going to ask you to bring your shoulders right down away from your ears. And just take a nice deep breath. If you can, in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. And then just allow your breath to fall back into its own rhythm. And again, I'm trusting that you've picked a space that feels right for you in this moment. Trust that all the sounds, if there's any distractions in the room, I just invite you to trust that they are meant to be there and they're part of this meditation for you. So again, closing your eyes and gently allowing your shoulders to fall away from your ears. Let gravity help you. Feel the weight of your body and notice how supported you feel by your own chair. Trust that you are just where you need to be, right here, right now, in this moment. Take a deep breath in through your nose and fill your lungs. You can take in what you need and want. Exhale out your mouth and allow your exhalation to extend a little longer. Allow your breath then to fall back into its own rhythm. You can let go of what you no longer need and want. Notice the sounds that are in the room. Hear them. Notice any smells in the room and smell them. Notice where and how you have chosen to rest your hands. Are you sitting with your palms facing up? This may indicate that you're open to receiving more of what you need. Are your palms facing down? Perhaps your body is saying it has everything it needs right here, right now, at this moment. Are your palms facing each other? Maybe that you are trusting you'll take in what you need and hold on to it. Have your palms landed, one facing up and one down. Maybe this is a message from your body that you will take in what you need and want and leave what you no longer need and want. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs. You can take in what you need and want and exhale out your mouth. You can let go of what you no longer need and want. Take another deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. You are capable of asking for support when you need it. As you allow your breath to fall back into its own rhythm, bring your attention to your feet. Picture your feet in your mind's eye. Imagine that each time you inhale, you're pulling in from the energy that resides below your feet. Feel the energy in your feet. Notice any tingling sensations in your feet or lower legs. Continue to visualize through your mind's eye what lies below your feet. Imagine yourself traveling below your feet through the foundation of the building you're sitting in, deep into the earth. As you look around deep in the earth, notice the incredible root systems that surround you. Allow yourself to picture the root systems. Can you see the pathways of energy? As you visualize these pathways, can you invite in colors? Can you allow your imagination to have you witnessing the brilliant colors moving as the energy shifts from one root to another? Now allow yourself to just observe the brilliance of these root systems. Witness them. Watch them pull from the abundant nutrients held within the soil. Notice as each root takes in what it needs and leaves what it doesn't. What is left will be absorbed by other roots in need. Continue to observe this magical system of roots, of a rooted community that resides below you. They are living in abundance. I invite you to breathe in this abundance. Feel the abundance traveling up from the soles of your feet. Can you imagine the colors of this abundant energy as your body draws it up your limbs? Can you see it like a mist swirling around your legs, then nearing your torso? Can you imagine this mist? What color does it show up as for you? Feel this abundant mist continue to swirl and wrap around your belly, then travel up to hold you and swallow you like a weighted blanket. Allow yourself to feel held. Breathe in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Again, breathe in the abundance and exhale what you no longer need or want. You are enough. You are enough. Allow your breath again to fall back into its own rhythm, fall back into your own natural rhythm, knowing this energy of abundance is always available for you. It forever resides beneath your feet. Know that you can tap into this endless flow of energy when you're feeling depleted. Continue to breathe and take as long as you need, feeling wrapped in abundance. When you're ready, start to wiggle your toes. Start to wiggle your fingers and trust in your own timing. You are enough. You always have been. Gently drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Feel that lengthening up your left side. Then gently dropping left ear to left shoulder. Feel that lengthening up your right side. And slowly, gently dropping your nose down to your chin down to your chest. Feel the lengthening up the back of your neck. And again, when you're ready, trusting in the messages that are coming from your body. Slowly raising your head, opening your eyes, breathe. And I invite you to remember how you feel right here in this moment. The beauty of a mindful meditation, taking yourself into yourself, finding even if it's one moment of peace, one moment of clarity, one moment of comfort, just to know that that moment, that feeling resides within you. And maybe you are able to access it now. Maybe you could access it even more readily by a lake, sitting with a friend, just in a different space. But I invite you in this moment to remember and to know that the feeling resides within you, which means you can access it anywhere. Thank you for carving that time out with me. And I am curious, so I would love to hear from any of you what that experience was like for you. Perhaps you do grounding meditations all of the time, and this is something that's fairly commonplace for you, but I'm curious, did anybody have any colors come up for them? Did anybody feel, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yes, we have one person who would like to share right now, and that is Marilyn. You would like her to come in and share?
Yes, please, Marilyn, please, welcome.
Hi, good morning. This is the first day I'm able to join in today. This week, I've been in a lot of trainings this whole week, and this meditation just helped me so much. The trainings were very intense. There was so much tension, and you kind of carry that tension with you and feel it everywhere in your body. And just being able to do this morning and release, it just felt amazing. Like I could feel like everything that I was carrying from the week just let go. And as far as the colors that I was seeing, I was just visualizing gold and just sparkliness around me. And that just lifted me up, and it felt amazing. Thank you. And I'm complete.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Marilyn. And I'm so glad that you were able to take in the brilliance of what you've learned at your training, but then also release so that you can be present in this moment to just feel that brilliance of what you've learned, and allow your body just to incorporate that, all that learning and all that training at the pace that works for you. Training can be tough because it's a lot of information crammed into a short period of time. And you can feel that pressure that you have got to take it all with you. And I love how you named it as a weight. And so to be able to release that weight, I feel opens, and maybe that's what the light and the gold that you saw, but opens up space for you now to pull in from the training what's really resonates with you, what really is going to stay with you and needs to stay with you based on your own wisdom and on your own knowing. And what you don't need and want from that training, you get to let drop off at a pace that works for you. So I hope that moving forward, this training continues to, what you're going to pull from it continues to settle in your body really gently. So thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody else want to share maybe what colors came up for them, even what feelings came up? Were you able to get grounded and be present? And I'm really open to hear from folks that maybe struggled to picture anything that I invited you to picture. Did your mind go somewhere completely different?
Do we have anyone who would like to share what came up for them with that meditation experience? Yes, we have a couple hands. First, we have Teresa Scott. Teresa, please come off mute and share with us.
Hi, peace and blessing. Good morning.
Good morning,
What
Teresa.
what came to me like when you was saying about the hands, I first, like went into like a judgment. Oh, I don't have my hand up, whatever. But it was like you never said anything about a judgment about my hand. So I was like, wow. I was like, it's like you have been told, like hold your hand up a certain way, or you're not surrendering, whatever. But nothing that you said was about judgment. So that was very relaxing. It was very, very calm. And the color that I was dreaming, that I was focused on, was the color purple and green. I was thinking about the heart and color of royalty. Those are two colors that came to me, and it's very relaxing. It's like really, really relaxing because I was like in some pain, and when I first started breathing, it was hurting, but then after a while, I just released the pain. So, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No, and thank you so much for your sharing. And I love that you used the word dreaming, the first word that came to you. And then I know you did change it or corrected it. I love that you said, when I was dreaming. And I also love that you brought up that feeling of maybe an assumption that there was going to be some judgment there in how you should hold your hands or what it meant, that the way that you were holding your hands. And what I love about that is that brings up where we're going to be going. So you already know it. You already have the knowing of that, the story of origin story, our origin story that says I should know and I should do certain things, should do things a certain way. We're going to chat about that a little bit later. So I so appreciate your sharing. Thank you. Who's next?
I'd also like to invite Laura. Laura has a hand raised. Laura, please come off mute and share with us.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Thank you
Good
so
morning.
much for this. What came up for me first, the color was the purple, and I'm starting to see my chakras circles spinning. But I felt held, and that energy came up for me was the color of fire. It was like bright yellow, orange color holding me. I certainly felt held this morning. So I want to thank you. Thank you. I'm complete. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. And I will say that in my own personal work, allowing myself to be held is an ongoing, it's a huge part of my healing. And it is really one of my greatest struggles. I want to witness everybody being held, and I want to hold space for, everyone to feel held and feel loved. And definitely my work is in stepping into that space that I create for other folks. And I know I do because I get the feedback, but to step in that space myself and to be that vulnerable, to trust that folks really do want to hold me is a big piece of work for me. And that's like, again, it's ongoing work. So I appreciate you so much telling me that you felt held, because I'm going to mirror that and feel held myself. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you.
Yeah.
Danielle, we also have a few comments coming in from Facebook. K Sweetness Jennings says, "Shalom, kings and queens." She said, welcome, Danielle. The color today is yellow.
Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful.
Another comment from Tracy Easton on Facebook, and she says, "Good morning. My colors are white, pink, and purple. This was great. This was a great way to start my day."
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Lots of purple coming in, such a healing color. Thank you.
We also have another person in the Zoom space who would like to share, and I'm going to invite Bree to come off mute and share with us.
Good morning, Bree.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I wanted to pop in because I'm I'm also experiencing a lot of purple and a really big haze. But one thing that I find is interesting and is not very familiar for me is I'm feeling almost a struggle between being very grounded and present and this really gnawing sense of defensiveness, which is interesting. The struggle and kind of shift between the two is something that I'm really just trying to witness, but I'm also wondering if it really is because of some of the topic that Danielle's talking about of surrendering to control. But it's an interesting duality.
Oh, Bree, thank you so much. And good morning, Bree. I don't think I think I shared at the beginning that I'm coming from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. So I am making the assumption that the majority of folks are in America. So, but Bree that just chimed in, I do know Bree, and she is about a half an hour from me. So thanks so much for joining in, Bree. And I love what you just shared. So brilliant, as all of you are. And I just know Bree personally, incredibly brilliant. I believe that dichotomy always exists, that the you know, to be able to be being grounded and also fearful. What I have and continue to learn is that the more I focus on what I'm trying to get rid of, the more it grows. And can I just allow it to be? And what I love that you're saying too, and which was another share already this morning, that judgment about the hands. It's so interesting how I believe our family of origin sneaks in, that family of origin story sneaks in, and I must do something a certain way because we were told to do things a certain way. So when thinking that, like, I feel fearful, or I feel agitated, or I don't feel completely grounded, I must be doing this wrong, or something must be wrong. How that family of origin story sneaks in with our connection to spirit, with our knowing, which I believe is what helps us be grounded. So can we just allow both to be, and how with grace, which was certainly a big topic in yesterday's Wake Up Everyone speak. So I love that I was able to follow yesterday, because I so believe that welcoming in grace to myself, I think I do a pretty decent job of doing that for other people. My work is really welcoming it into myself. How I talk to myself is not always kind, and the tone of voice I use when I talk to myself is not always kind. I'm learning the more I invite in grace. So I've given lots of it out, and I'm learning to really mirror that. The more I invite in grace, the more I'm just okay with both existing. I can be grounded and ungrounded at the same time. I can feel safe and be afraid at the same time. Doesn't necessarily mean I can be afraid and grounded at the same time. Does not mean I'm unsafe and I have to react or respond. I can just sit with, I'm afraid and I'm safe. Thanks so much, Bree.
Thank you.
I think, as much as if there is anybody else that wants to speak, I would love to hear all of what everyone has to say. I'm thinking I should move on a little bit, if that's okay. I don't want anybody not to feel heard, so I would love if anybody wanted to add anything in the chat. I do also I'll leave my email and stuff at the end if you're wanting to share things with me. But I just want to acknowledge that anybody else that is wanting to share, please know that your thoughts, feelings, they absolutely matter, and your voice matters. I just want to go on a little bit further, and then it might enrich what it is that you're wanting to share this morning. Does that feel okay? I'm going to hope that's a yes.
It's a yes.
Okay, thank you. So what I shared again at the beginning is that I did write a book, and it's just came out on Amazon this year. And I haven't done much with the book. It's so interesting. It took me about a year to put together, and then it came out. And I didn't know what it was going to be like when the book came out. I never really thought of that. I thought all of the work was going to be in writing the book. I'm going to have to move myself as I'm blinded by the light. Yeah, that's a bit better. The book I wrote, I called it The Grand Facade. I explore myself. So I wrote this book in such a way that it's my story, but in such a way that the reader will walk through their story with me. So I give lots of opportunities for you to reflect where you may or may not resonate with, or where you may resonate with my experience. And then when the book came out, I talked a lot about my addiction that I name as having an addiction to control. And as I wrote it, and having been a trauma-informed counselor and group facilitator, one-on-one counselor for over 22 years, I know I'm not alone in my addiction to control. I just myself had never named that before and didn't really realize until I wrote it how many roles I'd created in my life in order to navigate this addiction to control. And my addiction to control has kept me safe, a perception of safety that how I defined it, to keep me from experiencing any more abandonment. And in the book, I do start young and share a pretty traumatic experience I had when I was 5 years old. And I believe that's really when my seed of the fear of abandonment was planted and blown right open. And it took me on a path of, I never want to feel that again. And in writing the book, what I recognized is that all of the roles I created them such that when folks came to me, I knew what to expect. I knew what they needed and wanted from me. I thought I did. And I could control that interaction and therefore control the beginning and the ending of the interaction as well. So in that, controlled the abandonment, so I thought. And as I wrote the book and put the pieces together, I really realized how much I resided in perpetual self-abandonment. And it was a big eye-opener for me. And then when the book came out, I felt so incredibly exposed and realized my fear of abandonment, of course, kept me from wanting to connect with other people. I hid behind being a counselor. I want to create space for others to connect with each other. I want you to connect with me. But I kept my own vulnerability locked pretty tightly inside my titanium shell. I'm going to read a little bit from my book. But before I do that, I realize I've just talked a lot. I got nervous. So I'm going to feel my feet back on the ground again. And I would love to hear from somebody. If anybody's just put a comment, whether it's in the Facebook or if you can resonate with something I've said already, and I'm going to be fully transparent, you're going to help me get grounded with whatever it is that you share.
Well,
So
Danielle, I want to
Yes.
share a comment from the chat. And the first comment came in relation to what you just shared, came from Laura Clark. And she says, I can see the same in myself.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that in itself is so helpful. Thank you. Thank you. You said Laura or Lauren. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And
And
Laura.
Laura, thank you, Laura. And if I could, I'm not going to, but if I could scan the room right now, you would see I have notes everywhere. I've not read one of them. But I'm going to give myself grace, as Bree reminded, and all of you that shared this morning already reminded me. These are things that I do that my addiction to control still exists. And there are little things, I call them idiosyncrasies now, that I do in order to help me feel grounded. And sometimes I get carried away with them. When I even hear myself say, sometimes I get carried away with them. I want to take a breath and just invite in grace. This is how I've navigated my life, and it has kept me safe, and it's worked. I mean, for heaven's sakes, it's brought me here.
Yeah. I wanted two other comments. One came from Facebook, and Sweetness Jennings said, your voice is calming. You are doing great.
Thank you.
And in the Woo chat, we have Jacqueline, who says Ashe at Laura, just confirming what she says, can see the same in myself.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So my plan is to read a little bit from my book And while I'm reading, if you find your mind wanders into yourself, I hope it does. I do invite you to think about any roles that you've created in your own life. If you recognize any roles that you've created in your own life, and where those roles have been helpful and harmful. Again, I believe that both always exist, and not about judging. It's about taking in a break. Thank you, Laura. Just about taking a breath in and just acknowledging that whether the roles that you've created in your life have become more harmful now, and how in your life they've shown up to be both harmful and helpful. So I'm reading from, hi sis, from chapter 2 in my book. It's called Jonesin for Control. So I'm going to ask from admin, please. Maybe I'm going to need a little hand as I'm mindful of my time. I don't want to go too long here. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes, if that's okay, if that's not too long. So looking back, I can see that I worked tirelessly, convincing myself and the world that I wasn't afraid. I built a vessel that consumed fear as fuel, yet as the captain of my ship, I was pirated by self-abandonment. I can see that little girl who became a woman, both iterations lacking in self-awareness. I was a shell, forever waiting for the next scary story to inhabit my space, providing what I felt was purpose and meaning. The scariest stories had me rolling out the red carpet to welcome them. With open arms, I would greet fear and fill my body with the familiar energy of my first home in the womb. I navigated this fear vessel brilliantly. I kept her in a deep sea of silence as a young child. Being seen and not heard kept my outsides safe, while my insides festered with fear, confusion, shame, and guilt. As a teenager, I shifted out of stealth mode and plowed through like an icebreaker ship. I hated feeling so weak and helpless. I was growing to hate my constant state of vulnerability. I feel as if by the time I was a teenager, I had a skewed perception of how to be trusted, of how to trust and be trusted, and love and be loved. I hated my fear, and I was growing a hatred for myself. I was scared and mad, which I later learned was a formula for blind rage. I'll speak on the cost of my sense of self, but in reflection, I recognize the value my rage afforded me. I felt seen, heard, and safe in rage. Perhaps I was able to release just enough emotion in those blasts to ward off illness. I was quite convincing in my role as the rager, or at least I thought I was. It was a grand facade that showed the world around me and the truth within me a distraction. As the rager, I was able to trade in my fear for reckless abandonment. There was something about this role as the rager I gravitated to. The energy I felt in it was addictive. I think the only reason I didn't become addicted to drugs or alcohol in my adolescence was that my need for control was more intoxicating than any substance I had tried. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not an addict, nor that I've never abused drugs or alcohol. Quite the contrary, actually. I tried a lot of drugs and consumed a lot of alcohol. It took well into my adult life to recognize that my drug of choice, the one that first hooked me in, was control. In my teen years, I added raging. Unlike LSD or vodka, I decided when the high started and when it stopped. I felt like I finally had control over something and I couldn't let it go. Raging gave me some reprieve from the emotional pain I felt and fear. I had a trauma superstore in my body, aisle upon aisle of scary stories to pick from. I smashed windows and got into fistfights with other girls. My rage afforded me another role on the streets as a tough girl. The truth is that I hated this reputation. Even back then, I knew it wasn't me. I felt embarrassed and ashamed. I never told anybody how I really felt. I didn't believe anyone cared. I wasn't willing to jeopardize the safety I found in control either. It was as if I was experiencing having choices for the first time in my life. I was continuing to abandon myself, but I was choosing when and how. I got lost for a while in this sea of rage. It was like I'd shoved my essence into a burlap sack filled with bricks and allowed rage to push me overboard. Having sunk to the bottom, what surrounded me there was not a beautiful blanket of coral, but instead the weighted layers of shame. Having drowned my own essence in shame, I left myself filling my mirror with a broken silhouette. As I grew older, I manifested that same fractured image. I'm going to pause here because, and I will read more if time allows. When I say in this that I started to create the fractured image of myself that I saw when I looked in the mirror, what I do write about is I started to experience breaks and injuries at a really young age, at about 5 years old. So my book does speak to the multiple orthopedic surgeries I've had, illness I've had, a lot of stomach issues with gallstones and whatnot, starting in my early teen years. And what I've learned is how much my emotional suppression, holding in fear, holding in grief, because I certainly wasn't going to show anybody that I was sad, that I had no connection. I wasn't even willing to show myself that. And I believe all of that suppression, I became like a pressure cooker and started to break from within. So I do speak about that in the book. So what I would love to put out to the community now is any reflections, anything that came up for you while I read. And if nothing came up for you, if you could think about what roles you created or have created in your life that you found control in. What I mean by that is myself as a personal trainer, I feel in control when somebody comes to me in the gym. I have 95% of an idea of what they're coming to me with. So I don't feel vulnerable because I know, I feel as if I've got a perception of control. As a counselor, folks are coming to me for support. And of course, I'm learning the more I relinquish control, the more the support is I've removed the desk and it's a conversation. But just asking you to go back, are there any roles that you identify with, that you've created within your own life, that you found a sense of control in, and to be mindful that's not a bad thing. There are ways that these roles have been both harmful and helpful. Would anybody be open to speaking to this?
Yes, we have quite a few people open to share with you, Danielle. And first we have Rachel. Rachel, could you please come off mute?
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, good morning, blessings, everybody. Yeah, so for what came up for me was at one point in my life, I would say a control freak, only because what I've learned was because my life was out of control, right? In so many aspects. So as far as my children had to look a certain way, and there couldn't be a mark on them, because it would show that I wasn't a good parent. And in actuality, I was struggling with being a parent. I was a teenage parent. I was struggling with being a homemaker. I was struggling with all of these things, these depression, all of these things, but the world couldn't know that, right? So my kids I didn't give my kids the opportunity at a very young age to just be children, because they had to look like perfection. You couldn't even be a child and run around too much, right? There's a time and a place for everything, because I have to look like I have this under control. So yeah, that's how it showed up for me in my life, and I am complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm going to invite you, Rachel, too, and maybe all of us, to just take a breath. Rachel, that was such an incredibly vulnerable share that I know I can. Being the mom of 5, I know I can resonate with exactly what you're saying so much of, and I felt it. I had a visceral reaction while you were speaking. So I invite you to take a breath and give yourself so much grace for being so vulnerable, and anybody else who resonated with what Rachel just said, myself included. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Let's invite now Laura Clark. Could you please come off mute?
Yes, Sir John. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Your story resonates so much with me. I didn't go down the path of drugs or alcohol. I went down the path of supplements. Whew, anyway, I was an early caretaker from the age of 16, taking care of my family. Then I found myself taking care of large number, renting a house and housing family and friends. And they didn't know, they had no clue what I was experiencing, that at nights I couldn't sleep because I was so worried about how I was going to pay the rent, how I was going to pay the bill, how I was going to buy the food. So much so that I started different streams of income just to provide for everyone. But nobody knew what I was experiencing at night, the sleepless nights. Nobody knew. So I've been going through, I actually came to New York, started in the restaurant business, treating, it's food, right? So I'm in charge of feeding people. Then I became a nurse. And while I was a nurse, I was playing the role of a nurse. Not only was I playing the role of a nurse, but I was an advisor. I was an advisor to my clients, to my staff. They would come to me. I was a seeker of knowledge, so I had all this up in my head. I would give advice to everyone, and they not knowing what was going on with me, except sometimes when the rage took over, I would kick the dustbin. Because I didn't want anyone to know, but they knew. They saw it in me, but I thought they didn't. Anyway, I'm getting choked up, so
Yeah.
I'll complete here so others can share. Thank you.
Well, that was so beautiful, Laura. Thank you so much. I'm going to also invite you to take a breath. And I love that you even named that you're getting choked up, because I so resonate with what you're saying. And in saying that, I'm going to make the assumption that it's difficult to share grief, to share your own vulnerability, to share your own needs. As you said, creating all of these roles was an incredible barrier. And I can resonate with that. I recognize all of the roles I created a barrier so nobody could see that I was vulnerable, that I was scared, that I had needs. And truly the one that I wanted, that needed not to see them the most, was myself. I worked so hard to create that barrier that I denied that within my own self that I even had needs, and went a step further, inviting in judgment and shame that having any needs meant that I was weak. And growing up with so much violence and abuse in my childhood and even my early adult life, I learned that the weak, the vulnerable got hurt. And that's what I speak to in my book. My first experience at 5 years old, I witnessed a big trauma with my biological father. And at that moment, I believe my young self was incredibly brilliant and said, I am not going to be the weak, because the weak get hurt. In fact, I'm going to sometimes even align with the person that has the perceived control, even if they're really scary. I'm actually going to gravitate towards that person, because that person I don't want to be. I have two choices. I can be the mother and child cowering in the corner, or I can be the strong, police officer dad that's got all of his buddies, that's got blood on his hands, and he's safe. And not only is he safe, they're looking up to him, they're listening to him. He has the control, he has all of his needs met. In fact, and he doesn't even need anything. He's got it all. So I believe at 5 years old, I chose that route. So I so appreciate your share, Laura, and I'm sure that it resonates with more folks in the room. Does anybody else have something that they would like to share?
Yes, there is someone else. And Teresa would like to share, but before Teresa shares, we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour, and I'd like to thank the community who have being here and who may have to transition into their day to start their day, go to work, whatever you may have to do at 8 o'clock hour. And for those who are leaving, I have posted Danielle's contact information in the chat here on Zoom and in Facebook. And you can reach out to her. You can go back to Facebook to what's a continuation of this session. And it's such a very powerful session, Danielle. Thank you for being so vulnerable and transparent with your personal experience.
Thank you.
We can continue. I'll also like to, I posted the information in the chat, but also like to share your slide here with your book.
Thank you. And the book can be ordered on Amazon. I wish that I lived in America and I was closer to all the Americans, because I would love to be able to give folks a signed copy of my book, but you can order it on Amazon. In Canada, it's $12.99. I have to be honest, I don't know what it is in America, but I'm going to guess maybe $10. Your money's worth a lot more than ours. So it's not very expensive. And it does have a link in it as well to a Reshape Yourself guide that I created, which puts you through 4 exercises or 4 activities. For the folks that are leaving now, I feel that I'm leaving you unfinished. I would love you to think about an I statement or a family of origin, a piece of your family of origin story that you took that has become more harmful and helpful than helpful. And think about a way that you might release it. That's how I was going to end today, was have us write down maybe an I statement. For myself, it would be, I'm not enough. And I would hold that statement. And instead of just ripping it up or burning it right away, I actually would hold that statement. Again, for myself, it's I'm not enough. And that really encompasses a lot of my story, what I took from what I witnessed and how I was treated. It gave me a belief that I'm not enough, which I know is not true. But geez, that belief comes up and bites me in the butt sometimes. So I'd write it on a piece of paper. Then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to hold it first. And I'm going to hold it. I'm going to give that statement grace. Because believing I was not enough was not a statement that I gave myself. So I'm going to give myself grace for believing it and taking it a step further and believing it is who I am. Nobody gave that to me. I've even given it to myself. So I'm going to hold it and give it grace. Then I am going to release it and let it go. And it doesn't mean it's not going to still exist. I'm just going to release the hold that it has on me. And I'm going to release it by ripping it up and rip up that piece of paper that has that statement on it. Or I might put it in a bucket and burn it. If you live somewhere, you're able to burn something outside. And then just allow spirit to clean it up. And then I'm going to write, I am enough. I'm going to write, I am enough somewhere over and over and over and over. So I'm hoping that folks that had to leave at 8, that you're able to make some space to do that for yourself. So am I correct that I can continue a little bit here? Could we go back to anybody else that would like to share? I would love to keep this conversation going. I certainly have lots of other things that I can say to fill the space, but I would much rather hear from the community if that's okay.
That's awesome. That's
Okay.
awesome. Let's hear from Teresa. Teresa, please come off mute.
Miss Daniel, you just said so much. Miss Danielle, excuse me. You just said so much stuff to my life. I was just different things been happening with our family, like just conversations been said. And I was just saying to myself, I said, like Teresa, part of you, didn't take responsibility for some things. You just walked away and just said, let somebody else do it. And so, that was like the first time that I ever said that to myself. And I didn't feel, I took the responsibility of it, but I didn't feel the beat down by saying it. And I was like, I knew that I had, went to another place, because normally in the past when I've gotten like revelation about different things, I would just start, beating myself up. So, but to be able to just say stuff and the control thing, oh my God, it's like I didn't realize how much I need to be in control. And lately I've been being tested with releasing stuff, like, okay, Teresa, you can't control this, even if you want to, so by me just saying, okay, like whatever happens, I surrender. You know, and I mean, even right, I could be having a situation right, this happened right in my home, and I got like, Teresa, you have to surrender. There's nothing you could do about it. So a spirit have it. There's a reason why it's happening, you know. So I've grown. I know that I've grown in a sense, but it has been a challenge because I have been so focused on others that I'm just learning how to be focused on me. Because at one time I didn't think that I was important. Even last night I had a meeting to go, supposed to be in a meeting at 7:30, and I was sitting outside and just they had music and I was dancing and having a good time. And I was sitting on the bench and was like, I don't feel like going to the meeting. And I didn't go. I didn't come into the meeting until around a quarter. I was meeting at 7:30 and getting the meeting until like quarter to 9. And I was like, and I was nervous, but I was feeling good that I choose to do what was good for me at that particular time. So I got in the meeting. I said, well, let me be honest. I was dancing, have a good time, and I didn't want to come in. I didn't want to leave dancing. And so the first one of the ladies, she was like, girl, that was good, some good self-care. But it's like, because it's such a foreign thing to do something for me, I'm so busy just trying to help folks that just taking a time for myself can be challenging, but it is so necessary for me at this particular point of my life. And I'm just so thankful to hear the shares and what everyone is saying about the control, because I've been out of control for a long time, and I haven't really been in control. I said in my head I was in control, but and my actions was saying I was in control, but releasing control is so healing for me. And I'm grateful that you're able to share what you shared today with all of us. And I thank you so very much, and everyone else who shared. And I'm complete for now.
Oh, well, thank you too so much. And you've just said so much in your share, and it's making me think about, what, and I say this in the book a lot, acknowledging and understanding not just what we say to ourselves, but the tone of voice in which we use those words and use that language, and how much those I statements never came from us. They were given to us. And this is not about beating up parents at all. I truly do believe that my parents did the best they could with the tools they were given. I believe for the most part, our parents did the best they could with what they were given. And I recognize how much the I statements I've incorporated into my life have just become more harmful than helpful, and how difficult it is to, again, not just what I say, but how I say it. And then when it does come up and bites me in the butt, and that statement is that I'm not good enough, I don't matter, nobody really cares that I'm here. Instead of saying to myself, oh, Danielle, isn't it stupid that you, or when I make a mistake, oh, how could you be so stupid? To be mindful when that comes up, instead of saying, oh gosh, what am I talking to myself like that? Take a breath. Just take a breath. Because those harmful I statements are what created this facade that I have lived most of my life in. It's what told me I needed to create another role, because to just show up as me wasn't enough. Nobody would want to just be with me. Today, even doing this, I think I have to have a whole room full of notes, because I need to prove to everybody that I'm deserving of taking up your time. I'm deserving of you getting up this early and sharing time and space with me. And I love what you said about control. If I say, I'm holding this plant in one hand and I'm holding control in the other, what have I got here? It's like you said, we're trying to hold on to something that never really did exist. It doesn't exist now. It's a perception. It's a belief. So I love your share. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable. And I know that we've all I just learned so much from you. Thank you.
Danielle, we have another hand up. This is Sweetness, who came in from Facebook. We will say coming from the porch. She came inside now to interact with you. And in the chat, we have several comments. And several comments have come in from Facebook. So we can, let's invite Sweetness in, and then we can come back to the chat.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings, sister.
Thank you. Good morning.
It is a grand morning. It is a great day today. And thank you so much for sticking through it to write the book, have it published, and sharing it with the world. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all is one of my theme songs here in this season of my life. As you were sharing and people were sharing, I was thinking about, and I have been thinking about this for some days, maybe turned into months, concerning early, right? That word early, waking up early. And I'm one of those people that embrace my self-care more than I do what's going on outside of me. And I say that with the thought in my mind about chasing employment, chasing fame. I'm thinking about how when we show up in the morning, what did I do? I put in the chat that I brushed my teeth to prepare myself for this morning, having no idea, what you were going to be presenting. However, I thought that the very least I can do would be to brush my teeth. And when Teresa was sharing about the self-care she was able to give herself last night, I'm thinking about how we don't necessarily think 3 times about responding to the alarm when it's time to go to quote unquote work. When we go to employment, when it comes to showing up for ourselves, how do we show up? And so that's what's been coming up for me. Several, like I said, several days turned it into must be many months now. And so I say that awakening with the sun, which has taken over your room,
Yes.
awakening with the sun, gravitating to that's a really good thing, opposed to when it was school time. I know that when, the sun was coming up and I needed to wake up and get ready for school, OMG, putting the covers over my head. I'm not trying to hear it or see it because I did not want to do that. However, when I shift my thinking that when the sun comes up, that there is so much energy connected to the rays of the sun that's going to get to me, and then that's going to allow me to live in my relevancy, because that's one of my I statements. I am relevant. Oh yes, I am, and I am enough. So yeah, that's where I am this morning, Danielle, and I'm with you. I am so with you and with the community on this grand day. I am open for all the miracles that are following behind this session. I'm so grateful for the miracles that already happened in this session. And with that, I'm complete.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Before the next share, there's something I wanted, maybe this will whoever else is going to share, this might be helpful. I was going to ask the community if they, when they're thinking about roles that you did take on or play in your life, have you thought about how many of those roles that there are when you grew up? Were they, were you in your family of origin? Were you the fixer? Were you the smart one, the quiet one, the people pleaser, the peacekeeper, the troublemaker, the absent kid, the loud child? To just, to take a moment, if you haven't already, to think about, oh, I love that. Rachel just put in all of the above. And the invitation of grace is, first of all, recognizing all of the roles and Teresa, thank you, also wrote all of them. Thinking about why you gave yourself that title. And I don't think that we have to take, as a counselor, I've had lots of folks say, do we always have to go back to our childhood? Are all my problems and my woes now, are they always about your childhood? And so my personal experience, and after having what I've thought through my life and then having read the book, in my opinion, that's where they're birthed. Absolutely. I know for myself, my family of origin story, absolutely what cracked me open and fueled my, or began and fueled my addiction to control was certainly a trauma experience at 5 years old. And then I was able to name many more after that. So I do think it's important to go back, especially for folks that need some answers or need some understanding. But I don't think we have to stay there very long. How long you need to unpack that is up to you. What I didn't really get a lot to today was the emotions. I know a lot of emotions have come up for folks today. For me, that is where my healing is. My addiction to control has kept my emotions in my titanium container. So especially grief and fear. Those are the two emotions I feel most vulnerable in. And yet today I was able to say right away to the folks that are helping to put this together and keep me on track, and to all of you, is that I'm nervous, that I feel scared, and I'm allowed to be grounded and scared at the same time. And that is a very new, really within the last couple of years. And really this year, I've been able to say that and name it and own it and start to give it grace, that it's okay. And even in giving it grace and giving my fear grace has helped me release the reins of control, that what I went through in my life wasn't that bad. I didn't ever want to say that what I lived through was scary or painful. I had such an ingrained belief that to name that I was in fear or in pain was a weakness. I really believed that. To the core of who I am, I believed that. And certainly inviting in spirit, releasing the reins of control, has helped me really understand that that's a belief that I needed to believe in order to navigate so much of the crisis and chaos and trauma that I experienced in my life. And again, I do write about it. The book isn't all sad and all scary. I just touch on pieces that I feel that many folks will relate to. But I judged so much my fear and judged so much my if I ever felt I needed to cry. So what I have learned is, when I feel a need to let a tear out, I need to let it out, and I need to give it grace. And even more so, take a step further to celebrate it. Isn't it awesome that I just let a tear out of my eye in front of all of you people that I don't even know? And Shawnee, who I know very personally, I'm so grateful, so grateful to know. She knows that for me, at 2 tears coming out, I've just bawled my eyes out, and I'm gonna celebrate that. My sister is here too, also from Canada, and she knows that of me too. But I just wondered if whatever shares have come up, I'm going to trust that whatever you need to say or whatever has come up for you is right. I just wanted to put that, make sure that I kind of went to that place of how I'm learning to release the reins of control is by having feelings. When I have a feeling, I recognize the feeling and I have it without judgment. It doesn't come from up here. The feeling comes from my heart, and I just allow it to come and know that I'm still enough, and that I am enough with all of my feelings and expressions of emotions. So I would love to bring it back to the community. Anybody else who would like to share, please.
Danielle, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for being so inspiring this morning.
Thank you.
There are plenty out there plenty of people who would like to share. But as I'm looking at the participants who are on video, and T. Corbett, she's waving and hugging and feeling you. And in the chat, she says, "I see you, Danielle, XL." And at this time, I'm going to invite T. Corbett, to just say a couple things that was coming up for you when Danielle was sharing. I could feel your emotions in watching your energy behind the screen.
Thank you. Danielle is my sister, so yeah, very observant and yeah, very intuitive. John, I'm sitting back, and I'm fortunate I get to have my sister. So I wanted to sit back and just let all of you experience her too. So
Uh,
yes, I'm doing it from behind the screen, and yeah, because I get to have my sister every single day. So
I
thank
want to say that you are also part of your sister's experience. And us watching you react to your sister sharing her story is a beautiful thing for us to experience. You're also part of your intimate, we can feel, I felt that intimacy as you were reacting, sharing your energy with us from behind the screen. It was definitely felt. It's a pleasure to meet you.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you for. So I do actually have a picture of my sister and I in the book as well. And my sister, of course, is a big part of my story, and she is my big sister and has been beside me through everything. And what was so incredible, even writing the book, was helping the two of us acknowledge how much we experienced trauma together, and both were in our own silos and found our own ways to stay safe. And thankfully, because we came to a work called psychodramatic body work, it's really helped us recognize. Then I haven't even named the work that we do together, but it's helped us recognize how emotion shows up in our body and not get stuck in the narrative, not get stuck in talking about how we feel, but instead recognizing what's coming up for me and expressing the emotion, and being able to experience expressing an emotion, having it witnessed and having it held, when so much of our life was about stuffing, was about nobody being there. And for myself, believing that nobody's there anyway, so why be sad? Nobody's there anyways, why be scared? So I denied those emotions even for myself, and it became so harmful in how much I hurt myself, how much pain and injury I inflicted on myself and on my body. And now my sister can gently poke me here and there and say, sis, it sounds like you need to cry. Do you need to? Yes, she pokes a lot. Sometimes we're over the phone, so I'm able to say, okay, sis, I gotta go. But it's certainly great to have your sisters in blood and also sisters in spirit, which Shawnee is absolutely one for me as well, that knows me and sees me clearly and is helping me step into who I've truly always been. I know it's truly who my sister has always seen me as. It's who Shawnee, I know from the day she met me, saw me in this light that I can't seem to escape this morning. And I feel like this is my story right now. It is that I've been running from the light my whole life. Denied that there was a light, and it's getting to such that it is blinding me that I cannot deny that the light is here, that the light is within me. And my mission, my on earth, is to be that conduit for spirit to share the light that I've been given and the light that I'm able to express to others. So I want to say thank you to my sister. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding me. Thank you, God, for reminding me of the light. And sometimes I just truly, and I give this knowing grace, I need to be blinded by it. I need to be stopped in my tracks like a deer in the headlights, like a deer in that light of spirit, and just to stop and take a breath and remember that I am enough. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Tina, for coming on. Thank you, sis.
Thank you. And so many of our members here in the community would like to share their own experience of you and your sisters, and just feeling your vulnerability and connecting so much to everything that you're sharing with us. And I'll first like to invite Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I was going to speak about the crying, but then your sister came on, and I want to touch on that because I too have my sister. And instead of talking about it, I wrote her a poem. So I'd like to share it. And I wrote this in 2016. My sister, how can I explain? You were always there for me to feel my pain. And though sometimes you didn't get my ways and the times made us go our separate ways, once back again, you never changed your heart or picked me apart. You accepted me. Accepted me for me. You looked at me and said, I got your back. I'll help you get back on track. There's so much you did for me when I couldn't see and I needed a vision deeper than me. You took the lead and showed me the way. We even went to church to pray our demons away. I recognize you for all you do and appreciate every part of you. Even with some of our irrational ways or the days we didn't see eye to eye, you never let my tears run dry without drying my eyes. I thank you for all that you did. Never will I leave you alone to deal with life or things that are difficult to manage. I got your back like you always had mine. No matter time or place, I'll always be on time. You're a rock when you need to cry. I'll give you time when you need space. Spiritually, you know I've always felt your pain, so I'll make sure I'll take your pain away.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's absolutely beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Rachel. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
This was also very confirming and aligning for me because I've been through so much as well. And that's why I'm crying, right? It took me 10 years ago, I started to cry. 10 years ago versus years before I was received differently by the world, right? Because of how I showed up, how I was incapable of showing up rather. And then I will get to the crying and then I'm gonna just complete. For me, I remember my mother laying hands on me and telling me if I cry, she's gonna hit me harder, right? So I learned to suppress those emotions of pain. And that's kind of what resulted in me showing up a certain way. But my sister and I have been on the journey together. So this is so amazing to see you have your sister like I have mine. So it's aligning for me. And I thank you both because I don't take away from how I showed up for my sister, even through my struggles. And I always say, she always says, thank you to me today. And I said, you have nothing to thank me for. I'm just your reflection.
Beautiful.
And I am complete.
Beautiful. I love that, Rachel. And I love that you just shared just the piece about psychodramatic body work that we learned. So really it is about shifting out of telling the scary stories to telling the stories to recognizing how do they show up in the body, feeling them and releasing them, and kind of getting there as quickly as possible. I feel like 10 years of therapy can be done in psychodramatic body work, in 6 months, if that, even less. And what I love about it is it's group work. So if you're not fortunate like you, Rachel, or like myself, Danielle and Tina, we weren't close growing up for reasons, but we are now. And I appreciate and feel, and I know this isn't everybody's experience. Not everybody has a closeness with their siblings. Not everybody has siblings. And in body work, in group work, what I love is you can recreate your family, or you can create the family that you deserve. And so you can have your sets. That is why I do call Shawnee my sister, as we do group work together. And I feel a real heart connection with Shawnee and my entire group. They are my brothers and sisters and favorite aunties. And they're not, I've got beautiful uncle energy where I've got, uncle or babysitter energy that abused me as kids. So this group work has been so healing to experience. This is what the terrible grandpa does to you, but I can be in a group and feel a grandpa energy from someone. And it's so healing to remind me that abuse was never about me. That was about them. It's not because I did anything wrong. It's not because anything was wrong with me. That was all on them. And now I get to love and embrace and soak up uncle energy, grandpa energy, babysitter energy, whatever energy that I experienced that hurt me in my family of origin story, I now have a healing, and it's so beautiful. And then I'm so fortunate that my biological blood sister, she and I, we really have this beautiful heart healing connection as we're both doing our work separately and together. So it's just beautiful. So thank you so much. I love hearing from other people that have a heart connection like that with your sister. So Thank you, Rachel. And thanks so much for also validating the challenge it is to get to those tiers. And I'm saying it lightly. And the continued work, it will be my life work to come to my, to one day get to the really, 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 really big cries in any space. I'm getting there. Thank you.
I'm on this journey with you because I haven't got there
Thank
yet.
you. Thank you. Thank you. So if anybody, I'm not sure where we're at time-wise. Do we still have more shares or reading from Facebook or?
Yes, we're approaching 8:30, 8:29 right now. It looks like you're watching the clock, but we do have a couple more minutes where we can wrap everything up so everyone feels complete and we don't leave anyone hanging emotional. So we still have a lot of comments in the chat. I'm going to suggest save the chat.
Okay.
I know I cannot get through all of them, but there are a couple that I'll still mention. We have 2 hands raised. I love the interaction with the conversation. In the chat, there's a lot of support for your session, for your sharing, and what is coming up for several people. So let's go to the chat to be fair. Read a little of the chat first. Let's see, jump in right here from a share from Facebook, and this came from Valerie Lyons, and she says, so powerful, so vulnerable, so relatable, so real.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Sweetness made a comment after that, so real, I'm attracted to real.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bree said, thank you everyone for the blessed beginning to the day. Love and peace to you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Bree.
Yes, Rachel's echoed all of the above.
Thank you, Rachel.
Sweetness said, I was the child that questioned everything. And Teresa said all of them. Yes, you beat me to it. All of the above in different times and different seasons.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go through the chat a little bit more. And Kamal said, greatest role was the listener and the keeper of secrets. I was the sounding board for my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very amazing self-awareness.
Joe said, I was the caretaker, making sure everything was okay in the home, to making it so there was no reason for anger, but it was never enough to stop that. It's funny how I carried that role to my whole life, taking care even in my role that I work in. So Joe resonates with taking care.
Very powerful. And I know we've had a nurse on, which my sister didn't name. My sister is a nurse as well. So that's 2 nurses that have spoken today. And again, I believe that this is how our roles can be both harmful and helpful. Very helpful. We need our nurses and we need our caretakers in the world. And I believe that giving grace to the skills and abilities that come with caretaking, with being a nurse, that the goal is give grace to when, because that resentment comes in when it's giving and giving and giving and then forgetting ourselves. Then when you step into that space that you hold for so many others, that space is already created because you've already created it for others. It is about giving yourself grace and permission and allowance, believing that you're worthy and that you're enough to step into that space for yourself.
Yeah, there's one other comment I'm going to read, is another comment that popped up to me. This comes from Adam. And Adam said, it's amazing how living animals can continue to live in harmony and not have to worry about money/status. But humans are being bullied for not having money or having a high class status. And it's making this world sick every day.
Yeah, and isn't when we think about money and well, status, I can think of like control. If I'm holding this plant, or I'm holding status. What am I holding? It's a facade. What is status? Again, it's a facade, and all of the roles that one has to play in order to obtain and hold this status. In my opinion, I can relate, because I needed to hold the status that people need me. I don't need anybody, but people need me. So I created endless roles that saw me needed, but never in need. And I think that if I heard you correctly saying that the world is sick, or the world, I agree with you. And I think that what is happening is we're healing. So I think acknowledging how sick we are is a step. And then look at this incredibly beautiful, powerful, brilliant conversation that's been happening for now today, 925 days. So as much as I would still name, absolutely the world is ill. Absolutely. I also believe all human beings are somewhere on that continuum line of addiction. That's my belief. But I also believe we're healing. I think that acknowledging that continuum exists, acknowledging that we can step on that continuum, sorry, my battery just said it was going low. I'm gonna have to plug in my phone. In the acknowledgement of it, we are healing. So are there things wrong with the world? Absolutely. Absolutely there are. And then how many things are right in the world? Like, again, for example, right here, right now, what is happening? And even in this right now, Danielle, who's so addicted to control, who right now would be losing her mind because my computer didn't work. And now I'm on my phone, and now I've had to move into a completely other room because my battery was full. And for some reason, it just died. So I am live healing right here in front of you. I'm not even, well, maybe a little bit I'm sweating. I was going to lie and say I'm not sweating at all. A little bit of sweating, but even in that, I'm going to tell you, I'm sweating right now because I feel nervous, because this has not come together the way I had planned. And at the same time, I'm also trusting that this has come together exactly the way it was supposed to. So thank you for that share.
Thank you so much, Danielle. I love your perspective of echoing what is better. Like, there's still healing. Both is the paradox where both happen at the same time, but it's where you see yourself. Are you looking at the healing, or are you looking at what's ill? Yes. And it's all about choosing a higher vibration. And thank you for being an example of that in the world, of showing people that even though this is happening in this direction, there's always good that is happening right now, even in this moment, the 925th day of Wu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope that we all receive that message, because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Is your experience will be determined on what you focused on, what you give your energy to, what you give your attention to. And this is my own practice that you're also echoing about feeling and determine which one makes you feel better. Which one lead to more of what you want to see in the world. And as you change what you look at, the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. You will start to recognize that positive and powerful and supportive and encouraging energy that's always present. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you. And I just saw somebody, a part of somebody's comment that said, we're laying in the mud. I can't even read the rest of the comment, but what I love about even just that first part of it, I think about the flower, the lotus flower that grows, comes from mud, and you can't have the flower without the mud. That both always exist. It's about, for me, it's about releasing the reins of control. What I can trust is that both will always exist. That if I don't have something to heal from anymore, and then I'm done. And as much as I'm trusting that meeting my maker is going to be a beautiful time. I'm in no rush to get there. So I'm learning to truly embrace this process of healing, to honor how painful it is, and to recognize how painful it is to cry. And all I'm needing to do is step into the space that I already hold for others. And I'm trusting that everybody that has attended this community today, and who does, really everybody across the globe, knows how to care for somebody else, knows how to create safe space for others. Our learning is, I believe, in giving ourselves grace and trusting that we're deserving of stepping into that space as well.
Absolutely. We have a couple more shares, and before we wrap up, I'm going to allow the last two shares, people to share what has come up for them in the session, and we're going to end that with Teresa. Come into the stage.
Well, Danielle, I'm going to talk about the tears because to see you crying, I mean, when you first came on, you was like, I only cried 2 tears, and I said to myself, this place is a place of healing. So you might come in here feeling like you're not going to cry, whatever, you're not going to get released, but there's a lot of release that happens in here. And I love that about Wake Up, is that it wakes up stuff that you might not realize needed to be awoken. And so to see you letting those tears go, and I was like, don't wipe them away. I was saying to myself, stop wiping, just let them flow. Because there's been times, I mean, I cry, I'm a crier, but there's times when I've come in here and I was like, I'm not crying, I'm not gonna be. And then I was like, Teresa, stop trying to be in control of stuff. And I don't know, I was thinking about John, and talking about vibrational. John had shared that he had gotten attacked. And so I had called John, and and I was saying something to John in the fifth one. He was like, Teresa, that is your fear. And I'm not gonna allow your fear, to come into me. And at first I was thrown back and I was like, oh shoot, what the hell did he say to me? And I was so proud that he was that bold to stop me. It didn't take away the love that him and I have for each other, but it just let me know is that he was saying stop to the fear. I'm gonna stand up because this is where I belong, and I'm not running. And that was such a message for me. So it's like it made my fear part of stopping, of running from stuff that I might felt fearful. So I've come in here and I've grown. I think I've been here for like almost 4 years, and I am not the same person. And so come more. You'll be crying a lot before you leave out of here. Before you know it. Hear me when I tell you. But just to see you crying this morning, it just really, it warmed my heart. And I just thank you for just being like, even when you was doing I was like, Lord, please let her find the charger, so she could be okay with the charger, and for you to even say it. And I was like, wow, so it's like, we don't even know what we have to face every day. But when you show up in here, there's so much family and love in here that healing is going to take place.
Yes.
And I'm complete.
Thank you. I did see somebody comment that they were called a crybaby growing up. And I think that, I mean, what a way to be told to suck up or to judge your own grief. And I'm sorry that you were told that growing up. I know you're not alone in that. And I don't know how painful that is to then judge yourself whenever those tears come up. So I'm hopeful too that we're able to find some tears this morning, or at least feel where you would feel it would be in your chest. We do hold grief in our heart and in our lungs. And so sometimes when we don't acknowledge our tears or don't even know what we're feeling, we can take a breath and just put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, close your eyes and breathe. You think, I know I'm feeling something, or I'm feeling some stress in my body, feeling some tension in my chest, tightening in my chest, churning in my belly. Take a breath and close your eyes. Your body will let you know what you're feeling. And then, of course, it's the invitation from you to make space to have those feelings despite the inner narrative. And if the inner narrative says, I am weak when I cry, give grace to that. Give grace to that inner narrative, because it has served you. It just become more harmful than helpful according to the messages from your body. So thank you for sharing that.
And that comment came from the next person who you're going to speak with, and that is
Oh,
Sweetness.
oh, great. Thank you.
Yes. So Rachel had shared something that triggered something in me in regard to her mother and the way her mother was trying to love on her. Yeah, excuse me. And so I I was able to give birth to two children in this lifetime. And as I think about how I resisted or did not like or embrace the way my mother raised me, I too have been guilty of some things as I raised my sons that was not necessarily healthy. And so also in this community, as far as making something wrong, the energy is not put on making it wrong. However, it is identifying what no longer serves you. So when I when I cry, and I freely do, and on some occasions, if I needed to not cry, that is not even happening. So, and I'm okay with that today. And it's speaking to Danielle, speaking to myself. I can so relate to what you was talking about. When I be cussing my own self out, but if somebody else come by and say something out of line to me, I get all bent out of shape, right? And then now that I'm paying attention to who I am and who I want to be and who I am creating and taking ownership, it's like, well, look, listen to how you're speaking to your own self.
Yeah.
I'll drop something, and I mean, I'm having court and everything about me dropping something 3 times. And so I have more grace to extend to other people now that I recognize that that voice is directed to myself. So now as I give myself grace, and I give myself grace, and I give myself grace, I can also give others grace. And that's what I take away from having interaction with other people who want to think they're arming me or holding resentment against me about something I did or said. And it was like, how graceful are they with themselves? Because I'm confident that, you know, what I said and what I did, we don't need to go to trial about that. It's just a matter of being more forgiving, right? And so I think about the being able to hear myself when Rachel's mother said what she said to her, and I heard that from my caregivers as well. If you don't stop that crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry for, as if I didn't already have something to cry for. And I'm saying, do we hear ourselves when we say things that I'm gonna say is ignorant? Do we hear ourselves? And so what I like about sweetness today is I hear myself. I don't just see other people, I hear myself. And with that, I'm complete.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you, Sweetness. Thank you so much. It's funny, as I stand here too, I look right there on my shoulder. It's a picture of my sister and I. So interesting. Yeah. And I love just that, like you said, the giving grace at those, giving grace. I believe we are mirrors. So certainly as we give grace to ourselves, and we give grace to others, we can mirror that and give that grace to ourselves. That's really beautiful. Thank you. Are there any other shares? I'm not sure what our time is at, but I'm going to trust in administration that you have that together.
We can start wrapping up now. I believe that completes our session today. What I'm going to do is, you have something you want to offer our community members
I
here.
do. And I wanted to say one thing, as I just saw Laura's comment, and I do talk about that a lot, Laura, in my book. She asked about the orthopedic break, so maybe why it is that I mentioned that. So in my life experience, holding in so much emotion, I do speak about where we hold, what organs we hold the different emotions in, which I learned in psychodramatic body work. And for myself, how that manifested was in body break. So I've suffered a lot of orthopedic injuries. And I do speak about those in my book, and how learning my own body language, stepping out of the inner narrative that was negative and into my body, and trusting in the wisdom of my own body. I have been able to slow down the body breaks and be kinder and gentler to myself, and give myself grace for the body breaks that I have experienced. Right now, the slide that you see, that is my book. Again, you can order it on Amazon. If anybody's in Canada and they're maybe close to me, I would love to get a copy to you signed. I appreciate with shipping costs and whatnot. It's crazy to go to America. It's easier for you to go to just to Amazon. And yeah, I do have an offer for 3 participants. If you are, any 3 are interested, I think we're going to choose 3 numbers. And you could have a 30-minute complimentary coaching session with me. So I am a group facilitator, and I also provide one-on-one. And sometimes it's just it's just a phone call, or we can even use a Facebook connection if you like. But I was just going to choose 3 numbers, and I think that the 3 numbers I'm going to choose between 1 and 20. And am I just saying the 3 numbers out loud? No, I'm going to hold them to myself. Wait, I was supposed to give you the numbers at the beginning, I think, wasn't I?
Okay, so you said 1 and 20.
Yes, please.
Well, 1 I can find, but 20 we have 16 participants today. So between like 1 and 16, I guess.
Perfect.
So 1, let's announce 1 first. And this is an exception of your admins and yourself. The first participant is Abimbola. Abimbola, could you
Beautiful.
come and let us know you accept the offer?
Yes, thank you very much. I will accept the offer because no one ever calls 1. So, so I'm
Beautiful.
grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay, can you give me your next number?
5,
5.
or the number closest to it.
5 is Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Joe, could you please come off mute and let us know you accept the offer?
I don't know if you can hear me, but absolutely, I'll accept the offer.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
That's great.
Okay, your last number.
How about we go with 3?
3. 3 is Ingrid Moore.
Yay, Ingrid.
Wow. I guess 3 is a lucky number, the Trinity and Holy and all things. I'll go with it. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Danielle.
No, thank you. And what you're going to see there is my contact information that's just come up on that slide. So if all 3 of you would like to, if you all have Facebook, you're more than welcome to just shoot me a Facebook message in Messenger, if that works for you, or if you want to do it through Instagram or the email. It's whatever it's for you. I'm so okay if you want to just do it through Facebook Messenger.
Absolutely. However works. Whatever
Perfect.
works.
No, that's
By
wonderful.
any means necessary.
And then we'll set up a time and a day and time that works for you.
How
Thank you.
lucky am I?
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you please verbally share your email and website with us?
Absolutely. So my email, Danielle, DANIELLE at yourconnectioncoach.ca. And then the website, www.yourconnectioncoach.ca. And then on Instagram, it's at D Gaucher, and Facebook is Danielle Gaucher.
So we get the Instagram again.
At D Gaucher is Instagram, and Facebook, Danielle Gaucher, GAUCHER. Thank you.
And love offering and donations. And Danielle, you shared with us so transparently today, so powerfully, and so inspirational in your story today. So authentic. A lot of the core values that we use here in Woo and how we view money is that my own natural energy yields. So when you give, it comes back multiple fold. And today we are speaking about the energy of money. So we're asking for you to, give what you can, support our facilitators, support our community, support your admins, and let's keep sessions like this coming to Woo. Danielle is a first-time facilitator here with us, and we would look forward to seeing you again, Danielle, hearing more about your story and about your journey. So for those who would love to give, you can do so by going to Zelle or QuickPay. Soul Leadership Development at gmail.com is the email to use. And for Cash App, $Spirit of a Woman. And the hashtag there, you can click in the chat. It's being posted in the chat and use the code number 925DG. 925DG, and that will be sure to distribute your love offerings and donations, and we're so grateful for you and for them. And next, here is another way you can support our community for those who give monthly and would like to donate monthly. You can click on the links for $25 a month, $50, $75, or $100 a month, and that way it can be set up automated. And we appreciate those of you who are already doing so, and those of you who are currently feeling the desire to give a monthly love offering and donation.
And I'd like to share that if you will join the Wake Up Everyone community on Sunday, September the 3rd, 2023, for the impact of mental health on student performance in urban schools. This will be facilitated by Travis Sinclair Camp. It looks amazing.
Thank you, thank you. And I would love to invite you back on Sunday and the following days just to hear some of the powerful shares that our facilitators have to present to you. And if you are new to our community, we thank you for being here this morning and invite you back again. And I'm going to invite our community members to welcome you with open arms and love. Just share right now that you're new. Maybe it's your first week with us. Just share that in the chat. And welcome you again to a community where we come to learn, elevate, and ascend. So welcome newbies. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
And this is our schedule. We're here 5 days a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 8:30 a.m. And on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 7:30, a little shorter, but just as juicy session. And we're always streaming live on Facebook. You can get your Woo alerts by texting the word Woo Nation to the number 74121. Again, that's Woo Nation to 74121, and you'll never miss another live session. You can visit the Woo store today. Actually, I invite you to visit the Woo store, bit.ly/Woo swag, and support our community by choosing from several of the beautiful items we have created here for you, from mugs, the t-shirts, the water bottles, candles, tote bags, computer sleeves. It's endless. And we invite you to visit the Woo Swag store today. Support our community. Thank you so much. A couple other ways you can stay in touch. Register bit.ly Wake Up Movement. You can find us on Facebook, bit.ly/Woo Community for our private page, and bit.ly Woo Nation for our public page. We're on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, YouTube, bit.ly Woo on YouTube, and you can email us again, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And today, I want to remind you folks that you can put your skills to good use. We invite you to join our volunteer team. And you can click on the link in the chat, or you can email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And one of our volunteers, interest team members, will contact you or respond to your email. And it's a powerful place to be and to volunteer and to just expand your skills and learn how to add them to your life. At this time, I like to stop the screen share and invite Danielle to her love shower. Come off mute and show your love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Danielle.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sis.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done,
Come back
Danielle.
very
Powerful.
soon.
I
Thank you
love
so
all
much. It
your
was
work. It was
wonderful.
so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
really
Thank
want to
you.
get your book.
This was awesome.
This
Thank
was
you. Thank you.
amazing. I
Thank
loved
you.
all the shares.
It
Thank you,
was very, very
everyone.
amazing.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for all the shares, for the tears, for the love. It's amazing. There's healing in this place.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Very releasing.
Very much. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I love y'all of admin team. Everyone else have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Continued blessings.
Love y'all.
Ashe, Ashe.
Thank you.
See you on
Thank you so
Sunday.
much. That was beautiful. Thank you. I feel very held. Thank you.